Hey dudes. When you think of a flagship mascot for video games, what do you think of? Mario? Crash Bandicoot? Sonic? Maybe Alex the Kid? What don't you think of? Bubsy on the Super Nintendo? Yeah. So what happened was, there was a lot of money pumped in by Accolade to try and make Bubsy their flagship mascot. But it didn't work. It didn't really work. They even released a, what do you call it? Like a cartoon at the same time that they released the game. Let's have a look.
I'm back! What could possibly go wrong? Hey, what could possibly go wrong? It's time to be heroes for crying out loud! I mean, what could possibly go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? What went wrong?
Wonder what the name of that episode is. Regardless, what I do need is some kind of post-completion mix to help me get through this. I've got a lot to explain. It's going to be a bit hard, so I've enlisted the help of a friend. Here we go. Perfect. I brought this Bubsy formula for about $28, and it's probably as bad as the game. It tastes fucking awful, but I'm gonna drink it, because I need it. The smart thing you might say when you see this shirt is, why the fuck does it say Acclaim on it, right? Because I'm fucked up. It's Accolade. Accolade makes Bubsy. Acclaim made fucking MK Jam and Turok. Yeah, I really fucked up, but let's get into it. Let's start it off.
Bubsy in Claw's Encounter of the Third Kind is a game developed by Accolade and released in 1993 as a part of their attempt of a brand mascot. At first it seemed like a pretty decent game. The music's nice, the art style's very aesthetic, but Bubsy was a game I had fond memories of when I was younger, when I hired it. And the fact it was released in Australia tells me Accolade put a lot of cash and trust in the franchise. I remember his first few phrases from the first few levels as well, but I'll talk about that later. But I'm here to tell you about my playthrough. I had nostalgia for this game until I played it again. It's the first time I've ever lost nostalgia for something, and it's entirely Bubsy's fault. What could possibly go wrong? So Bubsy in Claw's Encounter of the Third Kind is just your classic cartoony side-scroller from the 90s. A lot of bright colours and your favourite anthropomorphic cat. Garfield, Bubsy, and where everything kills you, but we'll get around to that later. So there are a few things in the tutorial that can be helpful. The yarn balls, you collect lives, enough points and you get a life. That's cool.
Fuck. That's a classic half-half right there.
Press L and R to look ahead and behind. It's kind of helpful, but when you're going fast, it doesn't really matter. Jump into enemies to bop them. Press up and down to duck. You don't really have time to use that. Collect shirts for lives. Cool, that's a little twist. One thing that I don't mention though, that is crucial to the game, because you die so often, is the checkpoints. Nowhere in this tutorial does it mention any kind of checkpoints. Anything. It's ridiculous. The checkpoints are a giant exclamation mark with a yarn ball at the bottom. And nowhere in the tutorial does it mention that. And these are super important, because they're scattered throughout the level, sometimes only in the very center. So this, accompanied with a lot of other little goofs, makes me maybe consider that people didn't really care about this game when they made it. They didn't really care to help people out. They wanted to make it hard, and they didn't care. Now onto the action buttons for old mate Bubsy. So he only has two action buttons, jump and glide. A, B, Y and X, they all jump, with X and Y allowing you to glide as well, if you double tap it. But the decision to make this simple isn't a letdown. It's the fucking awful hitboxes everything's surrounded by. They're wonky as fuck, like it's been drawn by Michael J. Fox's steadiest hand. Bubsy's hitboxes, for those who don't know, is the imaginary line the developers draw around an object for it to interact with another. For instance, Bubsy has one, and literally everything else does too. A quick bit of simple level design of Bubsy. The pattern is as follows. The first 3 levels are always just straight running from left to right of the map. So often as you just get as high as you can and glide to the right, trying your hardest to cheese the entire map by the end of the 3rd level is the boss. Rinse and repeat for 16 levels, with the bosses having a varying level of difficulty from easy to unfair. The bosses are another thing. Wow, a new boss. It's usually the same enemy, and the only way it increases in difficulty is through speed and hitboxes getting fucking impossible to hit with Bubsy's shift movement, but after Infinite goes, you'll feel like a fucking speedrunner using Bubsy's floaty powers to pound face. I guess the bonus is after every biome, after every 3 levels, there's new enemies, bar the standard alien type dude, introducing stupid stuff like train sharks and spiky rockmen.
Oh, mate. That's fucking good. Oh, that's too much. Fuck.
And now onto the most frustrating part of the game, and most memorable, the deaths. Because in Bubsy, everything kills you, and I mean fucking everything. Falling kills you, hitting shit on weird angles kills you, every enemy kills you. Bloody Googies kill you. The water kills you, you're a cat, makes sense I guess. The classical alien kills you. Water again. Familiar friend, water again. Falling kills you. Fucking whatever the fuck that was kills you. So yeah, you start the game again, this is pretty good. Fresh start, ready to go, and fucking dead. Fucking face-planting walls nearly kills you. Hot dogs kill you, of course. The old snail kills you too, with a shitty hitbox. And clipping near the edge and falling kills you, which is cool. That's cool. Pins kill you. Pins kill cats, apparently. Yeah, more pins. They just keep killing you. And a boot fucking knocks Bubsy out. Yep, whatever the fuck that was. More pins. Loving the pins. Some more pins. Just can't get enough of the pins. And ice creams, they freeze you. They don't kill you, they just freeze you. Makes sense. And firecrackers fuck you up. So sweet. And now there's just burbs. And they also fucking kill you. So there you go.
Shouldn't that be fearless?
One thing you will notice after finishing the first level is as you enter the second, the music is exactly the same. Then you do the third, and it's exactly the same. So every biome has exactly the same music for 3 levels, and then you pass it. On the 4, 5, 6, different levels. It's all different music. But yeah, for 3 levels you have to listen to the same shit. And then phrases. Oh, don't even get started on phrases. Phrases is coming up. You'll see how bad that is. That shit is fucking atrocious. If you're shit at the game like me and you die repeatedly, you will hear the same phrase and the same music over and over again, perhaps every 30 seconds if you're bad enough. Imagine how bad it would be if every time you scratch your nose, the song would restart. That's what it feels like.
So let's talk about what I promised at the start. The phrases. Let's talk about that. Every level has Bubsy repeat a phrase when you spawn in. So that means every death also causes Bubsy to repeat the same phrase. So you hear him say the same thing, like he's mocking you, until you're able to finish the level. And then when you finish the level and start a new one, it's the same music, but the phrase changes. Even somebody in my stream, Gentleman Ferret, he's like 18. Even he knew the phrase of the first level, which was,
What could possibly go wrong?
Now I won't show you all of them, but I'll show you my favourite, because they make 0 sense. And listen very hard to the P sound on the very last clip.
Shouldn't that be fearless? Uh-oh. Well, it worked for Clint. Go ahead, make my day. My contract does not mention paint. Hey, I didn't write this stuff. Somebody dial 911. Well, are you still playing this thing?
I imagine when recording the lines, it probably went something like this. When are you ready, mate? Sweet, sweet. Just the 2 lines? Yep. Yeah, when you're ready. Cool, okay.
What could possibly go wrong?
Mate, that was grouse as. I don't even need a second one. I'm pretty fucking chuffed, man. Yeah. Mario and Sonic have got to look out. So there's a few more things to mention before we wrap this all up. First one being the passwords. They're ridiculous, and I'll show you why. Let's have a look.
So the password issue. This is a bit weird. So it's not A to Z, it's B to G, H to T, and it's missing A, E, I, O, U. Why? Get it? They're missing Y as well. So they're missing Y. So I was ready to get really frustrated by this, and then I saw on a NeoGAF forum, someone called Canon J had posted saying, Nintendo didn't want passwords that contain swear words, so for a short time in the early 90s, they banned all vowels and passwords. Notice A, E, I, O, and U, are all missing from those password screens. Cool, okay, that kind of sucks, but I get it. What about Y? Why is Y missing, Bubsy? You just started to delete letters? Thought it was cool? It's not cool. It's not at all. So we can look past that, that's fine. We can look past that. The problem I do have is that passwords are so integral to the game because it's going to be incredibly difficult to finish it with 9 lives. You just die so often, it's just ridiculous. So what happens is, you press select to bring up the menu in Bubsy at the very start, and select to enter a code. But if you press start to start the game, it puts you in chapter 1. Even if you've entered the entire code correctly, you need to press select after inputting the code, and then start. If you press select again after inputting the code, it makes you type it again. You want to play 2-player in Bubsy? No worries, no fucking problem. But it's very inventive, I warn you. So the other feline is wearing a similar piece of clothing, but the exclamation mark is green. So it's pretty much a single player experience for 2 people. You just take turns. It's awesome, right? Bubsy's bosses. This is one of the best parts of the game. So they're all the same with varying difficulty. The first one is 2 yarn balls, and they're slow as fuck. Very easy, just floating around, smashing them, done. The second, surprisingly, is 2 yarn balls again, right? Two of them, and they're slightly faster. So you do the same thing and you smash them again. The third might as well be the fucking water temple, because the cunt just keeps knocking you off after you kill him. He finished me like 4 times after the bell. It's only so shitty because he can't move Bubs after you kill the boss. So if movements are all of his own, I just had to kill the bastard and float in the corner so he couldn't fucking drown himself. The last boss was the easiest of all. You just sit on the left-hand side of the screen and jump randomly his head until you kill him. I think you have to hit him 7 or 8 times, it looked like. And that's it. You've just finished Bubsy Claws Encounter of the 3rd kind. And somehow, just somehow, they found a way to make the bosses the most least rewarding part of the game. So let's see, we'll give them a round of applause for that. We'll give them a round of applause. Overall, Bubsy looks like it'd be a great game, and kids wouldn't know the difference, to be honest, like myself when I was younger. Unfortunately, the only redeeming factor here is that it looks nice, and it looks like it belongs among other AAA Super Nintendo titles. If you disagree with me, I dare you to play it again. I dare you. Just play it for 5 minutes. Play for 5 minutes and tell me it doesn't frustrate you. But regardless, if you like this, give me a like, subscribe, and maybe tell me what you'd like to see next. And I'll decide if it's shit or good enough to warrant me spending the next 3 weeks broken up into half-hour segments working on this incoherent mess that I'll slowly improve.
Anyway, if you're keen, follow me on my pipes. I have Twitch, I have YouTube, obviously, and I also have Instagram. So if you want to follow me on those, the links will be below. I'll give you a close-up of my shirt too. This is the end, so you can leave if you want. You can leave. You can do whatever you want. You're free. You're a kindred spirit. You can do whatever you like. This took me fucking forever. And I'll probably be doing one for every video. So I don't know though. I wonder what the next video is gonna be. I wonder what game it is.